Welcome everyone to this online lecture for Part 2 English 2, that is for the general English students of the second semester. Today in this lecture we are going to discuss about the third unit, one act plays. In particular we are going to discuss about the Bishop's Candlesticks by Norman Mckinnel. The one act play The Bishop's Candlesticks by Norman Mckinnel is known for its theme. Now let us discuss the source of this play. Source means the from which the author has taken the idea for writing this one act play. So the one act play was adapted from the novel Les Miserables. It was a French historic novel written by Victor Hugo. The novel was about the struggles of ex-convict Jean Valjean and his experience of redemption. So, as I said in the beginning, the theme is very important. So, the novel Les Miserables spoke about the struggle of the protagonist Jean Valjean. This protagonist spent many years inside prison, and when he came out of the prison, how will he look at the society? Because people like us, we are living outside prison and we are having a normal life. All of us are having a normal life with our family. We are having family, friends, and we also have access to proper education, proper job, and particularly proper respect from the society. But how can these people who are coming out of prison have a positive attitude towards society? So what will be their attitude towards society? And mainly because most of them will not have a positive attitude because of the treatment they faced inside prison. So inside a prison we cannot expect them to be treated properly or to be treated modestly. So most of the people inside prison would undergo lots of mental trauma, mental suppressions, as well as physical problems. They would not have anyone inside the prison to share anything that they feel. So sometimes they would lose hope in humanity, and that has happened to this protagonist Jean Valjean. When he came out of the prison, he lost hope in humanity. He lost hope in social values. Even he lost hope in religion, and he was as if he was wild without any humanity. So when such a person came out of the prison, he accidentally met a Christian priest, and this priest had a huge impact on the character Jean Valjean, and how this priest changes the basic character or the basic mentality of the protagonist. So this is the main theme. I am repeating it once again. How a priest gives hope to a person who comes out of the prison. So this is the theme of the novel Les Miserables. Now our writer Norman Mckinnel adapted this novel as an one act play. About the author, Norman Mckinnel was a Scottish actor and dramatist. He was known for his career for playing many Shakespearean roles. In fact, he became famous by playing the roles of many Shakespearean dramas. He was most successful in writing and enacting one act plays. So just understand that this person Norman Mckinnel was not just a writer, not just a dramatist, but also an actor. Because this was important to understand the way in which he has written this play. Particularly, if you read this play line by line, you can understand that there are lots of descriptions within the brackets, and basically drama or written for to be enacted. So the basic quality of a drama is to get enacted, and Norman Mckinnell gave many importance to stage settings. So whenever you read a drama in your book, please give importance to the comments that are given in brackets, that are given within brackets. These comments would help us to visualize drama. So if you read this drama line by line, you can understand that Norman Mckinnell has given elaborate stage descriptions, and even he has given names for each door letters. For example, I'm reading a few lines from the beginning. The kitchen of Bishop's cottage. These are all descriptions. The lines which I am reading are descriptions. The kitchen of the Bishop's cottage. It is plainly but substantially furnished. Doors are L and LC. Window or C. Fireplace with heavy mantelpiece down R. Oak settle with cushions behind the door LC. Table in window or C. So this is how the description goes. So while I am reading, you can understand that he even gives importance to where the table is, where the window is, where the door is. So from this you can understand that he's not just a dramatist but also an actor who gave importance to each and every uh, movements and actions in a drama. Okay. Characters. For a drama, the characters and the setting is very important. Characters in this drama, in this one act play, we have five characters. The first one is Bishop. The second character is Persam, the sister of the bishop. The third character is Mary, the servant in Bishop's house. The fourth one, Convict. The fifth one, Sergeant. And this sergeant is a policeman who comes just for a few seconds in this play. So if we want to say that what are the major characters, the first four are the major characters. And the place in which the drama is set is France. So understand, the action is happening in France. The action happens after 11 p.m. So it is the action happened just near in and around midnight. Conversation between Persam and Mary. So the one act play starts with the conversation between Persam and Mary, and in this lecture I have given just a few few important conversations, because only if we look at a few important conversations can we understand the characters of uh, the, the characteristics of these characters. Sorry, we can understand the characters better. Conversation between Persam and Mary. Persam: where did Bishop say he was going? Mary: to my mother's, madam. Bishop asked me how she was, and I told him she was feeling poorly. Persam: you told him she was feeling poorly, did you? And so my brother is to keep out of his bed and go without his supper because you told him she was feeling poorly? So as I said, we are reading a few important conversations only to understand the character Bishop. So now the servant Mary was saying, now the sister Persam was asking, where was my brother? Did he inform you anything? And Mary replied that the bishop went to her house because her mother was not feeling well. Persam: and do you put salt cellars on the table, the silver ones? In this conversation, Persam is asking the silver salt cellars, and Mary is replying, they are sold, madam. Persam got shocked. Sold? Sold? Are you mad? Who sold them? Why were they sold? So here the drama starts, because in the house there were silver salt cellars, and look at the conversation. in the 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth conversation, there is a character called in the Mary Gringorin. So this woman didn't have money, and this woman needs money to pay rent for his house. As she didn't have money, she asked help to the bishop, and what this bishop did is, the bishop didn't have any money, so he just sold the silver salt cellars and gave the money to the old woman. And that is why Persum was angry. Look at the fifth conversation. What? The old witch who lives at the top of the hill and who says she is bedridden because she is too lazy to do any work? And what did Mary Jogering want with the money, pray? So the basic quality of the bishop is that he will help everyone. So when whoever comes to him for help, he would not say no. He would give them money. If he didn't have money, he would sell something and he would give the money. For example, come to the last conversation. Person, we shall have nothing left. His estate is sold, his savings have gone, his furniture, everything. So bishop was so kind that he sold his estate, his savings, his furniture, and now he started selling the objects, the minor objects in the house. Now the bishop enters. This conversation shows how bishop gave importance to the servant and her health. Bishop's care for the servant. So in these conversations, we can skip these conversations, but we just let us understand what the content is in this conversation. So the bishop went to the house of the servant and looked after the health of her mother, the old woman, that is the mother of Mary. And when he came back, he asked Mary to go back to the house, and he even gave his overcoat to Mary, saying that the weather was very cold outside, so please wear my overcoat. Okay. Now, Persum's displeasure with bishop. Yes, bishop was selling everything inside in the house, so obviously a woman who was inside the house would get angry, and Persum was saying, I am sure Mary's mother is not so ill that you need to have stayed out on such a night as this. I believe those people pretend to be ill just to have the bishop call on them. They have no thought of the bishop. So here the complaint of Persum is that people don't care about the bishop's health. They are asking bishop to come to them, and they are very selfish. The people are selfish, and the people are not taking care of the bishop. The people are not worrying about the health of the bishop. This was the complaint of Persum, because as she is a sister, she was taking care of her own brother. And now come to the conversation, the fourth one. Bishop, if people lie to me, they are poor, nor I. So even now bishop didn't lose his character of helping others. He was saying that if people came to me and people are lying to me, it means that they were very poor and they need my help. So I am going and helping. And the last two lines are very important to understand the character of the bishop. Persum. But it is ridiculous. You will soon have nothing left. You give away everything. Everything. Bishop, my dear, there is so much suffering in the world, and I can do so little, so very little. So here we can understand the character, his character. He was saying that throughout this world many people are suffering, and I cannot help everyone, even though I sell everything. So even though I sell everything which is in my hand, I cannot wipe out suffering from this earth. So I am doing very little, only very little. So at this time a convict enters. So before this, when Persum and bishop was speaking, and the conversation ended, and the Persum went to her room, and she went to have sleep. So person went to his room. Bishop was reading something in his hall, and during this time, the convict comes. Convict means a person who is a prisoner. Let us have it as a prisoner. A person who is accused of sorry, a person who did a mistake. A person who commit a crime. Okay. Person goes to sleep. Bishop stirs the fire, trims the lamp, arranges some books and papers, sits down, is restless, shivers slightly. Clock outside strikes 12. So this is what is important. So the time exactly at 12 o'clock. So he was just sitting. He was not feeling sleepy. So he was about to read something. Now the convict places a knife at the throat of the bishop and he says, "If you call out, you are a dead man." Bishop, "Why should I call out? Can I help you in any way?" Convict, so now look at this conversation. The convict enters. The bishop was asking, "What do you want?" And the convict didn't speak about money or anything else. Immediately he was saying, "I want food. I am starving. I haven't eaten anything for 3 days." So as he asks some food, bishop asks person to come out. I have cut short those conversations. What would happen during this time is the bishop would ask his sister to come out, and the person would come out of her room, and she would get shocked to see a stranger in the house. Uh, but the bishop would say the bishop would say that there is no need to get fear out of this man, and the person and the bishop would give food to this man. The next one. So after giving food to the prisoner, person would once again go to her room, and bishop would slowly start conversing with the convict. And the convict suffered. My God, yes, but that's a long time ago. That was when I was a man. Now I am not a man. Now I am a number 15729, and I have lived in hell for 10 years. So at this time only we are coming. So till now the bishop didn't know who the person is. So he thought that this person was just a thief who enters into the house to steal something. But just now the bishop understood that the person was a prisoner, and he was saying that he spent nearly 10 years in prison. So this page is very important, where the bishop would ask to express his experience inside the prison. So the convict will say, "It's so long ago I forgot, but I had a little cottage." So this was his life before going into jail. So before going into jail, what was his life? "It was so long ago I forgot, but I had a little cottage. There were veins growing on it. They looked pretty with the evening sun on them, and there was a woman. She was. She must have been my wife. Yes. Yes, I remember. She was ill. We have no food." Look at this line. She was ill. We have no food. I could get no work. It was a bad year. And my wife, my Janet, was ill, dying. So this was his yearly life. He was living with his wife in a small cottage, and during that time he didn't have any job, so he didn't have any money in his hand, and his wife was also sick, ill, and there was no food in his house. So I stole to buy her food. So he stole to buy her food. Long pass. The bishop gently pats his hand. "They caught me. I pleaded to them. I told them why I stole. But they laughed at me. and I was sentenced to 10 years in the prison huts, 10 years in jail. So this person stole only for giving food to his wife, but this person was arrested and this person was sent to jail for 10 years. The night I was sentenced, the gaoler told me Janet was dead. So now just understand the mentality of this person. He was a very poor man. He was living in a small cottage. He didn't do a great crime. It was a very small, yeah, it was a very normal crime. He stole something only because he wanted to give some food to his wife because she was ill. But this person was arrested and put into jail, and in the very first day of his life inside jail, the person, informer comes and say that his wife died because of illness. What would be the mentality of this person? How can we expect this person to look at the society in a normal way? Obviously he cannot he cannot look at the society in a normal way. So during this time he lost hope in humanity. He lost hope in the society. He lost hope in government, law, religion, everything. This is the convict's life in prison. Now tell me about the prison ship, about hell. So in the previous slide there was a minor change needed. It is convict's life before imprisonment, and now convict's life in prison. And inside, how was the jail? Tell you about it. Look here, I was a man once, I'm a beast now. So one before going into the jail I was a man, but now I am just a beast. And they made me what I am. They chained me up like a wild animal. They lashed me like a hound. So this man was chained inside the prison. He was not treated as a man, he was treated as an animal. I fed on filth. I was covered with vermin. I slept on boards and I complained. So this man didn't have a proper living, so he complained to the authorities, jail authorities. They lashed me again. So this person was once again beaten because he complained for 10 years. 10 years. Oh God. They took away my name, they took away my soul, and they gave me a devil in its place. So slowly, when he was inside the jail for days, months, years, the humanity inside him, the sweetness inside him, everything went away. And instead of that, a devil in its place. But one day they were careless. One day they forgot to chain up this wild beast, and he escaped. He was free. That was 6 weeks ago. That means that this person escaped from the prison before 6 weeks. I was free to starve. And this was another problem also. So it is just now we are discussing the important theme of this one act play. So we discussed about his life before jail and in the jail, and now we are going to discuss his life after coming out of the jail, after after escaping from the jail. So once he escapes from the jail, do you think that he can lead a normal life? No, because he was branded as a convict. He was branded as a person who was in the jail for 10 years. So he cannot have a normal life. No one will give him a job. No one will even be ready to speak with him. So he cannot get job, he cannot get he cannot go back to his relatives. There's nothing. So what can he do for his food? That is what he is saying in the last line. I was free to starve. So even inside the jail they will give they have given him some food, but once he escaped from the jail, there was no way for his food. So that is the reason he came into the bishop's house and he was stealing. And so the discussion about the conversation is enough. Now let us go into the important actions that follows this. So the convict stole the candlesticks. The convict explained everything about his life to the bishop. The bishop felt very sorry for this convict, and the bishop asked him to sleep in his house. And when the bishop was not in the room, the convict noticed everything in the room. So look at these lines. Bishop allowed the convict to stay at his home that night. The convict noticed the costly candlesticks. He stole the candlesticks and ran away. So when he was allowed to stay inside the house, he noticed a costly silver candlesticks in the house of the bishop, and he thought that if he steals these candlesticks, he can get more money, and so that he can have food for many days. Okay. He stole the candlesticks and ran away. And the important thing is, the bishop knows that he was stealing the candlesticks, but he didn't do anything. He didn't want to do anything. Person heard some disturbing sounds. So as he stole the candlesticks and as he was running out of the house, person heard some disturbing sounds, and she came out of her room. She noticed the candlesticks missing. So when the bishop was not in the room, when person was not in the room, he just stole the candlesticks and he just ran away, and the person complained. Person wanted to register a complaint in the police, but bishop said that the candlesticks would be useful for the convict and let him have it. So person asked bishop to register a complaint in the police station, but the bishop said that the candlesticks would be more useful for the convict. So the bishop didn't complain to the police. So the bishop didn't want to complain to the police, but unfortunately this convict was captured by the night guards. So the guards, the police who were guarding the streets at night, caught this person. This person was new to the place, so they arrested the convict and they looked at the candlesticks in his hand. The police knew that these candlesticks were that of the bishops. So look at the next line. But the police who were guarding the streets at night arrested that stranger and brought him to bishop's house. So they arrested the convict and they brought him back to the bishop's house. Bishop saves the convict. Bishop informed the police that the convict was his friend. So look at the humanity of bishop. Bishop didn't want the convict to be punished. So what he was saying is, he was saying that the convict was his close friend. So the police left. Bishop gave the candlesticks once again to the convict. So look at the nature of the bishop. In the beginning, the convict places the knife near the neck, near the throat of the bishop, but the bishop didn't get angry. The convict asked for food. The bishop gave so much that he need, and the bishop even gave some place for him to take rest during that time. And even during the night, even when the convict was about to steal the candlesticks, the bishop allowed. When the police brought back the convict, the bishop once again saves this convict, and not only saving the convict, but he also gave back the candlesticks to him. And now the convict spent nearly a few hours in the house of the bishop, but within these few hours there was a lot of change within the convict. So this convict, who had a negative opinion about the society, who had a negative opinion about human beings now slightly changes this attitude. Look at the next one. Bishop's charity changes the convict's attitude. Convict. I, I. The hyphens in between words, these indicate that the convict was unable to speak fluently. That is because he was he was overcome by feelings, that the sympathy that shown by the bishop, the care, uh, the bishop who takes care of the convict. So these are all the reason for the convict. So he was not able to speak freely. He was filled with emotions, and he was stammering. I I didn't believe there was any good in the world. One doesn't even has been in hell, but somehow I I know you're good, and it's a cruel thing to ask about. But could you would you bless me before I go? I I think it would help me. So now look at the change that is happening inside the convict. So a person who completely lost hope in humanity, now he is asking the bishop to bless him. Convict. Ha, I'm a fool, a child to try, but somehow you have made me feel that it is just as if something had come to me. Look at the last line. As if I were a man again and not wild beast. So what this convict is saying is, no, I was treated as a animal inside the prison. I thought that the entire world was filled with heartless people, but now you treated me as a human being, and because of you, I am feeling like a human being. So this is the main theme of the story. How a person who suffered much inside the prison looked at the society in a negative way. It is not just a negative way, but he has lost all his hope, and he looked at the he was not ready to live in the society in a normal way. But accidentally he met a bishop, and because of his meeting with the bishop, he felt that the humanity didn't die entirely, and humanity was living in the people like bishop. So he takes the candlesticks and he leaves the house of the bishop, and before leaving the house of the bishop, he was changed as a human, a man. So that is why he said in the last line, I were a man again and not wild beast. Thank you.